Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Taurus. If Taurus is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. Okay, so our card tonight is the Prince of Wands. All right, let's go ahead and take a look and see what these tea leaves have to say. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit the little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. All right. Oh, that one's interesting. I like this one so much. I like it. So we have this kind of face right here. You can see kind of pointing this way to the left. It looks like blowing out something out of the mouth. You can see the eye here, the nose here, kind of the face right here, and then the neck and hair or some kind of, headdress or something like this, okay? And now we have these little pieces right here that look like they're kind of coming out of the mouth and speaking. I almost, in my mind, I feel like it's like some kind of prayer or blessing. It feels like maybe some kind of spiritual practitioner praying over you. Maybe some kind of healing. Maybe it's kind of like a guide. So it maybe even feels like a guide. I don't necessarily feel that this is a being with a corporeal body. But I do feel that there's a sense of a lot of care for you. And I think that this is somebody or something that you know well. You've known them most of your life. I think you've maybe dreamt about them. It doesn't strike me as feeling uncomfortable when you witness them, when they approach you. You feel like, this is my old friend. This is a beloved person in my life. And, but I also feel like there is a little bit of being kind of apprehensive about this interaction, mostly because I feel like when you start having these dreams, they're often, it's accompanied with turmoil in your life. And I feel like often that does happen, right? When we are working through things in those interior places, when we are kind of being our own self-archaeologists, right? We're going into that unconscious place, and we are assisted by these spirit guides, these guardian angels, these intelligences that basically, they educate us, they show us, they come along with us as we explore the great unknown, right? And when we are deep in this work, sometimes it kind of unearths some of the troubles in our waking life. And I don't know why that is, but I will tell you that I think some of the most important work I've done in magic and in spiritual and self-work has been very much tied to difficult parts of my life, right? And that's not to, it's not to romanticize suffering. No, it's not. I will never do that. But I do think that this kind of energy shows up often when, you know, we are kind of dislodged from the ease of life, when things are not just going, you know, pretty good. So I look at this and I know that this is a time where, yeah, there might be some problems. There might be some issues in whatever sector of your waking life, in your mundane life, your daily life. It feels like it could be in your work. I get the impression, especially because we have that Prince of Wands. I was going to say Knight of Wands. And it's not the Knight of Wands. Prince of Wands. We have this energy of, well, you know, it can kind of just be a little bit aggressive, off-putting, flippant, kind of mouthy and pushy, and, you know, kind of a know-it-all, or, yeah, I don't, you know, it's just kind of sometimes, and we all get into these places where we but behave poorly, right? So I think it just happens to be that in the work zone of your life, there might be some kind of conflict. Now, you could be that Prince of Wands, you know, of course. A Taurus being kind of a fiery, mouthy, you know, pushy and dominant force in some situation. Yeah, that doesn't seem too far-fetched, you know. No judgment. I'm not trying to be rude, but, you know, yeah, I could see that. But I also think that, you know, being met with equal energy from somebody. Now, it could be that you are witnessing somebody behaving this way, and it really is kind of, I don't know, making the workspace, the place that, you know, you go and you put in your hours and, you know, spend so much of your life there. It could be that, you know, this person it behaves poorly and kind of just makes it an awful place for everybody to be, right? And it seems like somebody pretty youthful, you know, but I feel like, you know, you're not going to be pushed around, obviously. And I don't think I can't imagine you being somebody who goes and just, you know, wreaks havoc in a shared space, like a work environment, making people feel uncomfortable, or, you know, being aggressive or passive aggressive or rude or whatever. I just don't think it doesn't feel like that. But, you know, the thing about Taurus is you're not always everybody's cup of tea. Especially people who are kind of vying for status or to be elevated, and I can imagine there being just not a good connection there. But I think that it's affecting your overall experience. This situation, it's not something that you look forward to. Not that, I don't think that, you know, necessarily that work is your favorite thing in the whole world. At least not the work of, you know, a 9-to-5 or your day job or whatever. You like to do the work you want to do. unless you have started a business and you have found a way to, you know, monetize your creativity or whatever your passions are, it's likely, yeah, that you have this kind of base job to take care of the bills and all that. Most of us do, right? But I just feel like where usually it's a pretty decent situation, it just has had some conflict lately. And I don't think that you like that. But here's the thing. It is tied in very much to the self-work. And I think, you know, part of that may be, you know, and I tread lightly here a little bit. You know, often when somebody kind of manifests in our life and we just absolutely cannot stand their behavior, it bugs us. Now, it's not every time, but often, you know, it's because we relate on some level to them. There's something within us, especially the parts of ourselves that we try to hide or ignore or disown, those shadowy parts of self. When we experience that in another person, you know, it could be absolutely that we just dislike them. Don't like that person. I do not like that person, you know? And it's like, yeah, but you were just, you know, at times you can be just like them. And so, you know, I think that with this exploration, this interior work, yeah, it would make sense that somebody would pop up that you just kind of are not feeling, you know? And I think a lot of that is, let's kind of turn the mirror on ourselves. Let's look at, you know, what parts of ourselves, maybe this is old behavior. Maybe we were young, like this person, and you behaved similar to this. And now it's kind of like, okay, now I'm starting to realize like I was that terribly annoying person at one point in my life, right? And going through that kind of self-analyzation. And it's something we all have to kind of do. We, you know, a lot of times if we don't try to take an active role in examining self, it will stick the people in our life that, you know, they just set something off in us and it's hard to ignore. Okay, let's see. I want to look at this. Okay, so we have yes. Yes. Right here, Y-E-S. Yes. So yes to something. Yes to something. We have a 2 and a 0. 2, 0, so 20. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, now let's see. Okay, so we have this person who looks like they're on a llama. We have a llama right here. You can see the head and the long neck. Okay, and the legs. And we have a person right here. Kind of, it looks like maybe sitting on their back, maybe kind of standing on the side there. And what else do we have? What is this one? It looks like a face right here, just kind of smiling. Just kind of smiling. And we have a little heart right here. Now the person, that looks like they're holding a flower and maybe a doll. So the llama, to me anyways, is something that is just kind of very chill, right? When I think of a llama, like as a personality, it makes me think of like a surfer dude, right? From maybe the 80s or 90s. Now, I'm from California. I'm not from like prime surfing area, but I'm from northern, the valley in East Sacramento. But you know, I've encountered plenty of surfer types, or you know, that have kind of taken on the lingo and the aesthetic and all of that. When I was a kid, you know, it was a really big thing back then. So I kind of, this energy just kind of goes together in my mind, that llama and that surfer. And so I'm feeling like there's this thing in yourself, just a pull towards, let's just kind of chill out. And we have the person trying to kind of ride this energy, trying to kind of get on board, right? Trying to get into that vibe. And I almost feel like there's this sense of, well, we have like a doll and we have a flower. So to me, it kind of almost makes me think of like playing, like make believe, or, you know, whatever, which obviously I do a lot because I have a toddler, for those of you who follow my channel or my husband's. We have a daughter who's almost 4. So a lot of playing going on in our life. And so trying to, especially when I first started playing with her, dolls and, you know, cars and I mean, she just, whatever. She's into so many things, dinosaurs and science projects and stuff. Well, it was difficult for me to get into that mode. It was easy for my husband. He's really good at doing like all the voices and all, you know, playing in the Barbie house and everything like that. But for me, it was difficult because I had to kind of allow myself to let go of, you know, this kind of adult posture, and immerse myself in these little realities that, you know, my daughter sets up in, you know, her little stories and interactions. And she's like her mother, pretty bossy. So she'll tell you, this is how I want you to say it. This is what your person says. And if you do it wrong, she'll give you notes, right? And so it took some time. But I feel like there's almost this urge to kind of let go. Just let go of the seriousness of things. Being so dang professional all the time, right? Always trying to, you know, mind your P's and Q's. And it kind of flows over into your personal life. And so I feel like there's just this real kind of pulling, let go of all that stuff. At least for a little while. Have some fun. Enjoy yourself. Be goofy, you know. I think of just like the goofiest looking llama and spitting, and I think that's a camel actually, but maybe llamas spit too. And you know, and this person here, it's like almost kind of an offering of, yeah, let's kind of, you know, let's play. Let's remember what make-believe feels like. Remember what the excitement of, you know, creating your own little world, your own little scenario, being immersed in all of that, and letting yourself just kind of flow through it. You know, such an amazing example of kind of, what is that called? Free association. When you're watching kids, especially young kids who haven't like fully developed kind of, you know, the like standard storylines that we see in a lot of, you know, fairy tales and TV shows, and you know, a lot of them are the same story, barely, you know, kind of changed a little bit, and but when they're young, it's so kind of, they're working off all these abstracts and putting things together that don't necessarily make sense, but it's really interesting to see how their brains kind of match things. And so to be able to kind of somehow let go of all of this learned, conditioning and this is how things are supposed to, go. There's like a narrative and kind of a linear story and whatever, and our mind, we do that. We learn that, we do it, and everything that we experience in life, we try to figure things out, logically to some degree, right? And so, I feel like there's at least the urge for a departure from this. And so, I think this really exists within the realm of the magician, the realm of the fool, the realm of the hermit for sure. But also, even the knights, the princesses, to me, these are archetypes that they're unformed, right? Or they're becoming formed. And there's this real raw elemental current through each suit there. And especially fire is so unpredictable, right? And so there is this real ability to kind of pull from so many places and, it just kind of move furiously through that creative space in your mind. And I feel like this is a beautiful time for that. It really is. And, and it also, let me just say, it's a wonderful place to work out some of the stress that comes from, the work stuff, the interior work, coming to realizations about life and trying to make changes and do things differently and, whatever, to have a place where you can, use something like active imagination or role playing or whatever, being creative, writing, painting, making music, whatever it might be. This is a place to work out some of that stuff, to put that energy into something. And so I do feel that it is very useful for you. And yeah, I imagine you will create something quite beautiful. Now we also have the green man right here. Okay, so right in here, if you don't know what the green man is, you can look it up, but it kind of is like a man's face, right, made out of leaves. And I honestly don't, if it's Celtic maybe, I don't know. I'm going to tell you straight up. I don't know. But in my own experience of being in the wilderness, I find myself drawn to the wilderness often throughout my entire life. It is not rare for me to have experiences where, and this is partially that, what is it called? Parabolia, I think. And it's where you kind of create faces. Your mind is it's looking for patterns in things that look like faces, look like human faces. And it's a survival instinct, they think. But being out there, I will see faces in the tree line, things that look like faces. Now that I do tea leaf reading, I see images and everything I look at. Sometimes it's just ridiculous. I'm like, okay, that's enough. Like, I'm seeing a cat's face in the bathroom floor, in the tile on the bathroom floor, and it's like, okay, all right, time to stop now. But when I see this imagery, I know that there is it is something so potent, and it's sensual. It is the creative force. It is primal. It is, you know, vicious in some ways. It is close to madness. It is, you know, just twisting and turning and pulling and just, you know, it's overwhelming. It's an overwhelming feeling. At the same time, it is something so beautiful. I think of in the summer, in the late summer, midsummer, where I live, it's very humid. It's as cold as it is during the winter. It gets pretty hot here, but it's the humidity that is, it's very heavy. And around the golden hour, into that blue hour at dusk, when the trees are lush and the air is heavy because it is full of moisture, and the sun is going down and it's pink and orange and streaks of purple and blue, and the trees are just, they look like velvet. They look like dark green velvet, and the grass and the leaves and the fields, and the wind blows through them, and, you know, just ever so slightly they dance, and it feels beautiful and swollen and velvety and gorgeous and intoxicating. This is that other side of the green man in my estimation. And so there is an allure to it. And I feel like this is a place where you find a wholeness in these most strange places, you know. There is something so satisfying about the beauty of nature, of the wilderness, and it's hard to understand what is that within us. What is the instinct that we have that is drawn to beauty? Things beyond other, you know, you could argue maybe it's for procreation to some degree, but beyond our attraction to other human beings, right? Or our devotion to the beauty in other human beings. Why are we drawn to such beautiful things and things that are so aged and everlasting, and they were here before we were, and they will be here long after we're gone, and we know that. We absolutely know that. And so, what is it though? What is it that it just fills your heart, fills your mind, it fills your spirit. You know, you could swim in it, and I don't know what that is, but I think about it a lot. I do, and I've had experiences, right, with plant medicine that led me to, you know, meeting a goddess or two that felt like they were keepers of this place, and the kind of the gateway into that golden strand, right, that flows through all of these beautiful and lush trees and all of the processes that go along to support them. And again, it's just such a beloved thing, but it's hard to know exactly what is it. You know, I wonder, you know, I ponder that, you know, and I do think, I believe a lot in a fractal universe, that we are so much more interconnected than we could even begin to perceive. Even when we say we are all one and we're all connected, and, you know, there's no, we are nature. You know, we say we go into nature, we are nature. There's no separation there. But to really look at that on even a quantum scale, what does that really mean? You know, what does this mean? Everything kind of flows into each other. And we kind of perceiving ourselves as being something separate, but also so very in love with these things that we perceive as other, but there are they, right? Are they? And so it's an interesting thing. And so when I see this, I think, yeah, I mean, maybe you yourself are kind of in this place of, you know, being very connected and aware and feeling that kind of web that you are so much a part of. You know, there's no there's no separation. So let's see. We have a goose right there. We have a goose, a Canadian goose. We have so many of them around right now. They're beloved and loud. Actually, today, so there's a goose that's nesting right on the property that I live. We're near a lake, right? So there's a goose out there nesting on top of a muskrat lodge. Now, I think the muskrats have gone because this goose has been, she laid her eggs, I think about 2 weeks ago, or maybe around 2 weeks ago, possibly, maybe a little bit less. I don't know, around 2 weeks, I think. And so anyways, she's been there a lot. Obviously, she does not leave for more than a couple minutes. She goes swimming for a little bit and eats and then comes back a couple times a day. And today I was looking outside and I noticed something was on the nest, and I thought, oh my goodness, the babies are here. They're coming. They're gonna get out of there and, you know, start swimming around. They're so cute. And then I looked closer and it was a painted turtle, and it was it had crawled up on there and it was sunning itself, and then sitting right next to it was this goose. And they were just, in my mind, I was like, they're just sitting there chatting because the turtle kept like sticking its head out towards the goose, and then it would kind of turn and it would mess with stuff. And it was very cute. I have to tell you, it was very cute. But when I see the goose, I feel like there's an instinct in you, right? You listen to that, whatever it is, that drive, that just kind of leads you through a lot of the situations of your life. You're good at listening to your intuition. You're good at following that kind of, you know, whatever drive you think of. There's, you know, a lot of different ideas about which ones are most important. Usually people say like the death drive, or you know, the sex drive, or whatever. But you know, I feel like you're good at following your intuition. You're good at kind of just knowing what to do. And so we also have this phallic symbol over here, right? And so another sign of potent creative energies, also the wand, fire, that, you know, it is the staff. And so yes, I mean, it's a time where you have to kind of let it all out. You have to get into that creative zone, really kind of immerse yourself in whatever it is that is beloved to you. Because it's just energy flowing so freely right now. And other than that, I just keep looking at this as US, like us, something about us. it just, somebody kind of saying us. Oh, and there's a fishing pole. Okay, so, and a stump. So I almost kind of feel like this is somebody who maybe you used to maybe go fishing with them, or and I feel like it's like you'd go out into you were out in the outdoors with them, you know, going through the mud, kind of, you know, through the brush, hiking way out there, maybe, yeah, fishing, maybe just kind of, you know, messing around, and you like to hike, or, you know, your kids that are just exploring or whatever. But I feel like this person has transitioned, and there is an eye and a heart, and it looks like a Y, but it does look like a I love you. And I feel like this is somebody who was kind of pretty funny, because on the fishing pole there is a boot, and I almost kind of feel like it's like that's what you would catch, you know, we went fishing all the time, and you'd only catch like trash in there, basically. And so I feel like you had a good rapport with this person, and it was fun, and I imagine you miss them, but I do feel like they're with you, and I get a feeling that they died kind of young. That's what it really feels like to me. So I feel like it's like a nice visitation, a nice, it's been a while almost, but they're with you. They're always with you. And I think you think of them fairly often, not all the time, but, you know, they come up in your mind, and you think, you know, about the old times and such. But I feel like this is just them confirming that, hey, I love you, I'm here, right? Don't forget about me, I'm here. All right, so let's go ahead and do the Wild Bohemian affirmation cards. These are the fire element. And I'm just going to go ahead and flip through. I'm going to stop where it feels right. And it says, I am free. I am free. Allow the wild and mystical to inspire you. Wonderment is attractive. Wonderment is attractive. All right. Well, Taurus, I'm going to go ahead and tell you I love you, because I do. And I want to thank you so much for spending this time with me. It is always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. And if you would be so kind as to like the video, it really does help the channel. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit the little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. And if you'd like to leave a comment, please do. I read them all, and they mean the world to me. So with that, I will not keep you any longer. It's been a long reading, but I love you, and happy birthday. I know it's your birthday. It's Taurus season, right? So if you've had your birthday, happy belated birthday. If it is today as you watch this, happy birthday. And if it's coming up, happy birthday. All right, I love you. We'll talk again soon. Good night.